Gratitude in the quiet moments. There is a quiet strength within you that does not demand attention. It does not shout. It does not rush. It does not resist the storm. It waits. And when you turn inward, when the noise fades and the distractions fall away, you begin to notice it. A steady presence, a calm awareness, a subtle voice that reminds you, not all is lost. This is where gratitude begins. Not in abundance, not in comfort, but in awareness. You are taught to seek more success, more certainty, more control. Yet life, as it unfolds, rarely obeys your demands. It shifts, it takes, it rearranges what you thought was permanent. And in those moments, the mind resists. It questions. It suffers. But there is another path. You can learn to notice what remains. Even now, in the midst of difficulty, something remains untouched. Your ability to see, your ability to think, your ability to choose your response. This is your ground. Gratitude is not weakness. It is not passive acceptance. It is clarity. It sharpens your awareness. It brings you back to what is real, what is present, what is still within your reach. When everything feels uncertain, gratitude anchors you. You begin to see differently. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is still here for me to use?" This shift is small, but it is powerful. Because suffering clouds the mind. It narrows your vision. It convinces you that loss is total, that darkness is complete. But it is not. There is always something left. A breath, a thought, a moment of stillness. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can turn away, consumed by what is gone. Or you can turn toward what remains. This is where strength begins. Not in controlling the world, but in reclaiming your perception of it. You do not need everything to be perfect. You do not need life to be fair. You only need to see clearly what is within your power. Gratitude teaches you this. It trains your mind to look beyond the immediate pain and recognize the deeper structure of your existence. You are still here. You are still capable. You are still able to act with reason, with dignity, with purpose. And this is enough, not because it solves everything, but because it gives you something to stand on. From this ground, you begin to rebuild. Quietly, steadily, without fear. Gratitude does not erase suffering. It transforms your relationship with it. It reminds you that even in loss, you are not empty. Even in struggle, you are not powerless. Even in silence, something within you endures. And if you learn to trust this, if you learn to return to it again and again, you will find that what once felt like weakness becomes your greatest strength. Control over thoughts and reactions. Your mind is the one place that remains yours. No matter what is taken, no matter what changes, no matter how the world turns against your expectations, your thoughts are yours to guide. And yet, this is where most suffering begins. You react without pause. You interpret without clarity. You allow each event to define your state of mind. A word disturbs you. A setback shakes you. A loss convinces you that everything is broken. But look more closely. It is not the event itself that overwhelms you. It is your judgment of it. Between what happens and how you feel, there is a space, a quiet space, and in that space lies your power. You are not bound to react as you always have. You are not required to follow every impulse, every fear, every rising emotion. You can pause. You can observe. You can choose. This is not easy. It requires discipline. It requires awareness. It requires you to step back from the immediacy of your thoughts and see them for what they are. Temporary impressions, not absolute truths. When something disturbs you, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is not, then it does not deserve your distress. This does not mean you ignore reality. It means you refuse to be ruled by it. You accept what is outside your control. You focus on what remains within it: your thoughts, your actions, your response. This is where gratitude becomes your guide, because when you train your mind to notice what remains, you weaken the grip of what is lost. You begin to see that your inner world does not need to collapse simply because your outer world has changed. You reclaim authority over your perspective. And with this authority comes calm. Not a forced calm, not a fragile calm, but a steady, grounded presence that cannot be easily shaken. You begin to respond, not react. There is a difference. Reaction is immediate. It is driven by habit. It is often blind. Response is deliberate. It is guided by reason. It is aligned with your values. When you respond, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become a participant in your own life. You begin to ask better questions. Instead of, "Why me?" you ask, "What can I do with this?" Instead of, "This should not be happening," you ask, "How can I meet this with strength?" And in these questions, your mindset shifts. You move from resistance to acceptance, from chaos to clarity. This does not mean you will not feel pain. You will. You are human. But you will not be consumed by it. You will feel it, understand it, and let it pass. Like a wave that rises and falls. This is self-control, not the suppression of emotion, but the mastery of it. You do not deny what you feel. You simply refuse to let it dictate your actions. You remain steady. You remain aware. You remain grounded in what is true. And what is true is this: you cannot control everything that happens, but you can always control how you meet it. This is your strength. It is quiet. It is subtle, but it is unbreakable. Each moment gives you a new opportunity to practice, to pause before reacting, to question your assumptions, to choose clarity over confusion. And each time you do this, you strengthen your mind. You become less dependent on external outcomes, less shaken by uncertainty, less driven by fear. You begin to trust yourself, not because life becomes easier, but because you become steadier. And in this steadiness, gratitude deepens. You start to appreciate the ability to think clearly, to respond wisely, to remain composed in the face of difficulty. These are not small things. They are everything, because a disciplined mind cannot be easily disturbed. A clear perception cannot be easily deceived. And a person who has learned to guide their thoughts is no longer at the mercy of the world. They stand firm. They see clearly. They move with purpose. And in that quiet control, they find freedom. Discipline, determination, and inner peace. Strength is not built in comfort. It is forged in repetition, in restraint, in quiet persistence. Discipline is not something you find. It is something you practice. Each day, in small ways. When you rise without resistance. When you act despite reluctance. When you choose what is right over what is easy. These moments shape you. Not the grand gestures. Not the rare achievements. But the steady rhythm of effort applied over time. This is how determination is formed. You do not wait for motivation. You do not depend on inspiration. You act because it is within your control to act. Even when it is difficult. Especially when it is difficult. And this is where many turn away. They seek comfort. They seek distraction. They avoid the weight of effort and the discomfort of discipline. But in doing so, they weaken themselves. Because what you avoid does not disappear. It remains, waiting, growing, and when it returns, it meets a mind unprepared. You must prepare yourself, not for a perfect life, but for a resilient one. Discipline gives you this. It teaches you to endure, to continue, to remain steady when everything within you wants to retreat. You learn to sit with discomfort without escaping it. You learn to face challenges without dramatizing them. You learn to move forward without needing certainty. This is inner strength. It is not loud. It does not seek recognition. It simply persists, day after day. And as you cultivate this discipline, something unexpected begins to happen. You find peace, not because your circumstances have changed, but because your relationship with them has. You are no longer pulled in every direction, no longer disturbed by every inconvenience, no longer shaken by every difficulty. You become centered. There is a stillness within you that remains, even when the world around you is unsettled. This stillness is the result of self-control. You have trained your desires. You have moderated your impulses. You have learned to wait, to observe, to choose. And in doing so, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You begin to understand that not every thought needs attention. Not every feeling needs action. Not every situation requires your involvement. You become selective. You conserve your energy. You direct your effort only where it matters. This is wisdom in practice, and gratitude remains at the core of it all. Because discipline without gratitude becomes harsh. It becomes rigid. It loses its purpose. But when you pair discipline with gratitude, it becomes something else. It becomes meaningful. You are not simply enduring hardship. You are recognizing the opportunity within it. Each challenge becomes a chance to strengthen your character. Each moment of discomfort becomes a test of your resolve, and you welcome it, not with excitement, but with acceptance. You understand that this is the path. There is no shortcut, no easy way around the work required to build a steady mind and a resilient spirit. But there is reward, a deep, lasting sense of peace that cannot be taken from you, because it does not depend on external conditions. It is built within, through patience, through effort, through unwavering commitment to what you can control. You begin to trust the process. You stop seeking immediate results. You stop measuring your progress against others. You focus only on your own actions, your own growth, your own path. And this focus brings clarity. You know what matters. You know what does not. You know where to place your attention. This is freedom, not the absence of difficulty, but the ability to move through it without losing yourself. And as you continue, quietly, steadily, you realize something profound. You are not the same person you once were. You are stronger, calmer, more aware, not because life became easier, but because you chose to become better.